One thing that I was just reminded of earlier this week, somebody came in to talk to me, and they were at a conference that I was speaking at, and I had mentioned a certain prayer topic that I had prayed for, and he brought it up, and this was like 8 years ago that he remembered it, and he'd been implementing this kind of prayer. So I just wanted to as we close, talk about something that's very important. If you're in recovery, you might have heard about it. It's called prayer and meditation. And this is how we talk and how we listen to God. And it is our vital lifeline to a relationship that will solve all of our problems on the inside. And as you heard here today, that there's a lot of problems that are on the outside, but I have a power on the inside that's going to solve all of them, whatever comes at me. It's not coming to me, it's coming at me, and the power inside of me is going to solve that for me. So in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it talks about prayer meditation. You go through this recovery work, and then it never ends. And you get to the step 10 and 11, and you got to live that way. And then out of living that way comes step 12. It just happens because that's what's going to happen as you have a relationship with God. And in the Bible, it talks about continuously praying. And it talks about praying and fasting. We won't get on the fasting part right now, but we could do that maybe next month. And so my story about prayer is I finally got sober. I was working for a ministry called Jericho Road, and one barbecue day we had we had an open house every couple months. And the founder would do barbecue and hamburgers and little salads, and it would be for people that were donating to the ministry and whatever, just as a thank you. And I remember getting my burger. And it's serious. That's serious business. I'm getting a burger. I'm in line, and I've waited, and I've earned the spot where I am. And somebody starts grabbing me. And I'm like, man, you're in my burger way. And that's serious. And so this person is holding me and starts bawling. And I'm like, and immediately, for some odd reason, I knew it was a person that had been praying for me, and this person, basically, I believe this is what I felt, was this person saw me raised from the dead, because I was trying not to cry on my hamburger. And she's just bawling with her head in my back. And I turned around, and it was my former youth group leader from my old church that my dad was a pastor at. And she had been praying for me for 15 years and finally saw me and couldn't believe it. I got tears on my hamburger. I wasn't happy about that, but I worked through the hamburger okay. Got another one. My mom is a praying woman, and if you need prayer, you want my mom to pray for you, because she takes it seriously. I didn't want to be ordained or anything or that kind of, I didn't want to do a church thing, but her prayers, and here I am. And so that could happen to you too if you get her to pray for you. So, but she would pray, but I guess you, as a parent, you can give up pretty after years of not answered prayers, and it keeps getting worse, and your son goes to jail for the 4th time. And just all the stuff that happens. But she had 2 people, separate incidents, once where she worked in the hospital, and another time at church where she didn't know the people, but they both said the same thing. And they said that you have a son and he's troubled, but he's going to be okay. And that made my mom pray for the next 15 years continuously for her little boy. That's me. And so I believe that God hears our prayers, and they're so important. And I think we can feel that God's not listening because we're not getting our result when we need it. And there's so many problems in this world and people that we love, and you just go like, what's the point of this? I already prayed. But I just want to encourage you to keep praying, because God does hear our prayers. When this was all new to me, I met a pastor, and I was hanging out with him. And if you're somebody like me, like an ex-crackhead, just find a pastor. They need you. And say him, like, just find a pastor because he needs you. And so I'm the ex-crackhead to the pastor, and he's teaching me how to do things and teach the Bible and go to the hospital, pray for people. He would give me elbows to pray, like, it's your turn. I'm like, no, you just killed it. You're good. Like, man, I can't top that prayer. And he's trying to teach me how to pray. And so then he was going away for a week, and we did this Bible study in a park. And I was still a little nervous about carrying my Bible in public. Like, man, somebody might see me. It's like a little bit nervous. Like, I just don't want to be that guy. I was still there. And so he goes away for a week and he's like, Jon, you're going to take over the Bible study for the 2 days in the park. And I'm like, not me. I'm like, I got no qualifications. Like, I'm just your boy. Like, I'm just your ex-crackhead. Like, I don't need that. But I did it. And so I'm at the park waiting for the people to show up. And there was a lot of stuff going on in my life at that time where I was just like, friends were fighting and this happened and somebody tried to kill themselves. And it's just a lot of stuff. I was just sitting there waiting for a guy to come, and these kids are playing right beside me. There was this Confed Park. I got my Bible in Confed Park. Like, that takes some courage back then. And so I'm sitting at the park, and there's some bushes there, and I look over, these kids are playing with a bird. Like, it's a dead bird upside down. It's like a blackbird crow kind of deal, not the big crow, but the little crow. And it was upside down, and the feathers, and it looked like the eyeballs were white. And I tell the kids, like, whoa, like, stop that. And they go running off, and I heard a voice inside of my head, and it said, pray for the bird. Yeah, when that happens, this is what happens. I'm like, I can pray for a bird. There's no one here, right? And I look around. Yeah, there's nobody. And I'm like, Jesus, heal the bird. And I'm waiting. And I'm like, I'm feeling stupider. I'm like, I just talked to a dead bird. And I'm like, weird. And then this guy's coming, and he's coming to the Bible study. He sits down, we get talking, and I'm like, I'm like, look at this bird. And he comes looking at the bird, and the bird's twitching. And the bird's twitching, and he flips over, and he's on the ground like this, and his feathers are all mangled. And they go smooth, and his white pussy eyes, he blinks, and they go like blackbird with a yellow line. And he trots off. And I'm like, that was, wow. And they got hit by a car. No, I don't know what happened. You're all going to die. He's going to die somehow. I don't know how. But yeah, he walked away under the bush. And I remember I told this guy that I met this week that, I just shared it at a conference, the power of prayer. Like, we should all pray. Like, the results aren't up to us, but let's pray. Let's petition God for each other, for those that can't petition themselves. And I don't know what the results are, but they're not our business. And so this young man, he goes, I remember when he talked about that bird. He goes, I prayed for so many animals and birds, and they've come back to life. And I'm like, shut up. Like, for real? He's like, yeah, it's happened like 4 times. I'm like, I suck. I'm like, I only got 1 under my belt. So if anybody got a dead bird, I'm your guy. I'll try my hardest. I'll come. No, but it was really encouraging. I forgot about it. I forgot what happened. And it's so, like, life goes on and we forget these simple little things. But if we, as a collective of people, are praying for people that are hurting and lost and dead, if God can raise a little blackbird to life, what could he do for the people that are dying out there? So my encouragement is to form a relation in the temple of your heart that you can pray continuously to a God that has the power to resurrect a bird. And if he cares that much about a bird, man, he cares way more about you. So if you're a mom, don't stop praying for that dumb kid. Thank you, Nana.